Have you ever looked around and wondered why men don't care anymore? Why men have given up? Why men are checking out? Why men just don't have the same zest and zeal that we did for our before modern times? Well, I think a lot of men are looking at the way society is structured, the way we view each other as human beings, and realizing that in the workplace, in relationships, in education, men are not seen as important. Men are not valued as they were for the longest time, right? And so let's start out with education, right? So we now have a society where we're brainwashed to go to college. We all know that, right? But education actually doesn't benefit men as much as it does women, right? So men learn more, not through knowledge, not through information, not through memorization, but men learn through experience. Men learn from other men. Men learn from an apprentice master sort of relationship, a mentor-mentee relationship, right? So education, when men are looking at college, or men are looking at the way that the educational institutions are structured, they're looking at it like, why am I going to go to school, right, to major in something, first off, that's not going to benefit me financially, that's not going to give me a definite outcome 4 to 6 years out, but why am I also going to go into debt, not only into debt, but even waste my parents' money? Like, even me, like, my parents were, guys, I was in school for a year and 6 months. The reason I dropped out was because of COVID, right? I didn't want to take online courses, right? I didn't want to, do Zoom calls with random people, right? And I realized it was bullshit. So when I was in school, right, I dropped out. So I was there for a year. And the thing is I got to this realization that school in and of itself, right, doesn't actually give you life lessons. Like when we talk about education, I'm honestly looking at things that are pertinent to life experience, right? Like how is this person gonna share down their wisdom or pour down their life story, what they've gone through, to help benefit me, to help me navigate my life? When you think of education, or when you think of learning something, you want to look at it in a way as the person that you're learning from is 10 steps above you, and they're trying to mitigate the amount of time that it'll take you to achieve what they've achieved, right? So if it took an entrepreneur 15 years to become a successful entrepreneur, you want to buy into that person, right? Because that person can look back and tell you all the pitfalls and mistakes they made, so that it can mitigate the amount of time it takes you to become successful, and you can avoid the same pitfalls and mistakes and ways of going about things that took them longer than they would have liked, right? So I think guys are starting to wake up and realize, like, the only thing people can offer you as far as education is useless, right? Like, it's useless unless it can't, I'm not saying it's useless in and of itself. Like, again, if you're going to get a skill that's going to pay you, but going just to learn from people that have zero life experience, that have just been regurgitating educational textbooks over and over again, year after year to you, that is what is, I think, drawing men out, and men are realizing this is a fucking load of shit, right? So I mean, as far as education, that's where I think men are starting to draw the line and be like, yeah, I'm not going to do this, right? So and then let's talk about relationships. Relationships, this is a deep one. This is a fun one. Let's be very transparent, let's be very honest. Women don't give a jack fuck about modern men. Don't give a jack fuck, don't care about you, don't want to look your way, and honestly are pretty disgusted by you, right? Not you watching this video, but men as an idea, and men as a general class of people, right? Women are disgusted by us. Women don't like us. Women don't want anything to do with us. Now, if you're an average man, right, like, even if you're an average guy, right, they still really don't want anything to do with you, right? A lot of women are so traumatized by douchebags and creeps and, you know, men who are violent to them or verbally abusive or just, you know, losers, right? So women now have this sort of idea, right, that all men are shit, all men are trash, all men are useless, right? So they already view you sort of with like some hesitation, like they're looking at you like more skeptical than they may have been in the past. So I won't say they hate us. Like, I don't think women hate men as a class, but I just think they're like aloof. They just don't care, right? It's like, hey, they can live without us. Right now, they can't live without us because they need some form of attention, right? Like that's a fact. That is not something that you can like argue. Women need attention, especially from men, and they'll always get attention from men. But I think guys who are at least a little privy, at least a little aware, at least a little what's the word? Like understanding of the fact and know like where we are in society, as a first world developed country, that women are more selfish than they've ever been. Their standards are higher than they've ever been. They have arrogance, more arrogant than they've ever been before, more standoffish than they've ever been before. And guys are looking at it like this, right? Life is already difficult. Learning how to make money, learning how to navigate the economic terrain of the United States is difficult, right? Having to learn how to invest, having to learn a skill, having to learn how to be a profitable businessman or career or someone in a career, having to learn how to be profitable and make a lot of money is already a tough battle for men. So why are men looking at women and being like, okay, if I have to give 120% of my energy every day to become more than above average, make 6 figures or more a year, right? Learn how to invest, learn how to sell, learn how to be a proficient tradesman, be a leader in an organization, right? Whatever the case may be. I have to spend 120% of my energy every single day on all of those things, simultaneously be in the best shape of my life, have my nutrition on point, and then also be charming, be funny, be humorous, right? Take you shopping, take you out to eat, take you to the mall, right? Wait an hour or 2 hours for you to get ready before we go out. Do you think that's a deal for modern men? Do you think that that's a deal we want to buy into and deal with on a consistent basis? I think you already know the answer. It's a no. Why are men going to put 120% of their energy, time, and effort into building their financial status, building their body, right? Doing these things that are difficult, that require a lot of discipline, a lot of suffering, a lot of mental fatigue, a lot of mental output, physical output, and then have to worry about you being standoffish, being arrogant, like being like difficult, like being flaky, being non-responsive, being playing games, trying to be manipulative. Guys aren't stupid. We're not falling for it. Now, there's a lot of guys that are falling for it, and those are the men who you don't want, right? From a woman's perspective, you don't want the men who chase you. You're chasing the 20% of guys, right? So, but even still, right? Even some of the men who are in the best shape or handsome or have a lot of money, right? They still aren't really, women are still kind of standoffish to them to some degree, right? Obviously, you know, social circle and going out play a role in that, but generally speaking, right, good men who have their money together, who are not doing drugs, who aren't partying, who aren't out like that, right, who are in shape, who are doing the right things, living righteously, right? Women don't want to deal with that. You want to know why? Because women don't want to. Women seek novelty and fun, right? A lot of modern women seek novelty, fun, new experiences. They don't want to build. They want to get married later. They want to have children later. So guys are looking at it like, why are we going to look at you, settle down with you at 30, right? We're 35 or we're 40. We got $250,000 in savings. We got a paid off house. We got $1 million business, whatever the case is, and deal with you, right? So I think the woman mentality, the modern woman mentality of having your cake and eating it too is something that guys are just not stupid. Like, we're not dumb, right? Because as a guy, you can't have your cake and eat it too. As a guy, right? If you spend your 20s being a loser, right? If you spend your time, smoking, drinking, just being lazy, playing video games, living with mom, and then all of a sudden at 30, you demand a submissive girl who's going to clean, cook for you, attractive, throw it back, right, do all the fun stuff, people are going to look at you like you're crazy. But we're not going to look at women and think they're crazy when they rode the cock carousel, right, from 20 to 30. And then at 30, when they got their education and their job, after being a whore and a degenerate for the past 10 years, want to go find a man and settle down and now live the good life, live the righteous life, get right with God, right? So, you know, these are just, you know, as far as relationships go, I think that's why men are just either just not interested in women, not talking to women, not approaching them, or just going to other countries and finding more submissive women. I don't think there's two classes of men right now. There's men that are becoming passport bros, which I think is honestly better than staying, right? If you know how to invest and live off dividends or live off passive income. And then there's the men that are still here, that are still working or still doing what they have to do, but they're just not approaching women, right? They're just like, hey, you know, if women come, they come, right? If a girl wants to talk to you, right, or she's interested in you, you're open to it, right? But you're not of the mindset, like a lot of guys are, of going out and trying to figure them out. There's nothing to figure out. We already know what they want. We already know how they operate. We already know their games. We already know what they do. So I mean, there's no secrets anymore. Guys aren't falling for it. We're not dumb, right? So a lot of guys are dumb, but the guys who have somewhat of an intellect and have somewhat of a decent IQ, we're not dealing with y'all, right? So society, dropping out of work, dropping away, you know, leaving women, just going on your own, right? Even friends, like, what are the benefit of friends nowadays, right? I'm not trying to say that, you know, you can't have social connections, but, you know, the standard, like, idea of friends nowadays is so low that a lot of people have friends not for intellectual companionship, not to learn from each other, not to grow with each other, not to share ideas and, you know, like have an enjoyable conversation or just have a, like, you know, good time with people you actually think alike. Most guys are having very surface level friendships to avoid the emptiness in their lives and have somewhat of a companionship because they're bored, I think, right? I think a lot of guys are, you know, out and about because they're bored, right? Hey, you know, let's go watch the game. Hey, let's light up a joint, right? Like that's trying to escape your life. That's trying to escape the responsibility of you becoming a competent individual financially, physically, and intelligently, right? So again, these are just some ideas I have. This isn't like, I'm sure there's definitely a statistic behind why men are dropping out of the labor force. You can research those, but as far as women go, I mean, I just think like your guy who's privy, he might not be rich, but he might be on his way, you know, have a paid off house, have a good job. Like, bro, we're not even looking at y'all women because we already know what the game is. We know how standoffish you are. We know how, you know, we know how, like, and also how your highs and lows come, right? Because a girl can be into you and then she can be uninterested in you, right? And then she can be wanting to have fun and then she can want to stay in, right? Men aren't looking for that. Men are looking for stability. Men are looking for, I'm looking for a girl. Well, I already have a girl, but I like that my girl's like stable, right? She's kind of keen-heeled. She's level-headed. She's not too high. She's not too low, right? I don't want a woman who's all the way up here one day and then the next day she's down here. That's gonna fuck me up, right? So these are some reasons why guys are leaving society. They're going to other countries. They're dealing with more submissive, more attractive women. And honestly, I'll be honest with you, women in South America, women abroad are way more attractive than modern women, right? A lot of American women are fat, overweight. They demand a lot, right? Their standards are crazy. They think they're the prize. Guys ain't falling for it. We're not dumb, right? So that's it. That's all. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe. If you guys have questions, comments, feel free to leave them down below. And as always, I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.